I have spent thousands of dollars eating out at restaurants over the years, and I always leave emotionally and financially poorer. So I am on a mission to find the greatest restaurants in America, starting right now in my adopted town of Yuba City, California. The rules are simple. I have to try the most popular items at the restaurant, and I'm going to rate them on 4 categories. Flavor, did it slap? Value, did it bankrupt me? Environment, did I feel joy and happiness? Or did I feel like I needed a ballistic vest? And crave factor, would I punch a child to eat here again? Stop number 1 is El Rey's Mexican restaurant in Marysville, California. Marysville is like Yuba City's weird cousin that sells fireworks year-round and may or may not be haunted. This place is small, run down, kind of hard to find, like they're actively trying to stay off the grid. And I walk in and I'm like, okay, I'm either about to have the best burrito of my life or get salmonella. Like, there is not gonna be an in-between here. And off the bat, I should warn you guys that even though my goal right now is to find the greatest restaurants in America, I am not going to be nice. I'm going to be hypercritical, as critical as I possibly can be for all of these restaurants, because my goal is to find the best, not give someone a charity review. So back to El Rey's, this place has an arcade in the back that really excited me, except nothing worked and there was flies everywhere. So A+ for authenticity, I guess. And when I walked in, yeah, I mean, I was recording and I wasn't trying to hide it, but everybody was staring at me like I was in the IRS. Like, chill, people. I'm not here to audit you. I'm just filming a YouTube video and very questionable dietary choices. So everyone told me I needed to get the breakfast burrito, so I did, and it was good. I mean, it wasn't life-changing, but it was a super good burrito. What really sold it was the sauce, though. The sauce slapped. It was like if the burritos was the Oscars, the sauce was like Will Smith. That's how hard it slapped. As far as value goes, it was like $9 for the burrito, and it was a huge burrito. I couldn't finish it. I brought it home and gave half to my wife, and then my wife couldn't finish it, so that she gave a little bit to my daughter at the end. And even just eating half of the burrito, like, I had to recover for 20 minutes in my car before going home. So the value was great. I spent $9 and great. As far as environment goes, the vibes were like a classic hole-in-the-wall restaurant, if the hole had like a pest problem. It was a little dirty, kind of old. Again with the flies, I don't know why there were so many flies, but it was still a better ambiance than Olive Garden. Moving on to crave factor, it's greasy, it's cheap, it hits. Would I drive across town for it? Probably not. But if I was hungover and full of self-loathing, would I eat there? Yeah, absolutely. But it's not entering my dreams at night like, come back to me. But overall, it was really good. We're taking a little break here so that I can tell you guys how much I appreciate the support I got on my first video, and obviously we're gonna be changing directions here and going in a more positive route and a little more family-friendly route. Something that you should know is that I am becoming very passionate about this project, and it's very expensive for me to keep going. Eventually, as my view count goes up, money will come in from YouTube, but in the meantime, I really need help affording this. If you want to help support this channel, you can donate by buying me a coffee in the link below, in the description, or in the pinned comment. Buy me a coffee is super straightforward. You could donate once or become a monthly member. There are perks to being a monthly member, but there's also zero obligation. 100% of everything goes into me making more videos. Not paying rent, not paying insurance. I'm just making more videos, and I have other stuff planned outside of just finding the best restaurants in America. This is just one series that's going on this channel. I have lots of plans, and you can help me with those plans by buying me a coffee. I really do appreciate it. Now let's get back to the video. Stop number 2 in Yuba City, California is 2 Bits Cafe. Ah yes, 2 Bits Cafe. It's a really classy little spot right next to a laundromat and a Cricket Wireless. You know you're about to have a real magical culinary experience when you have to avoid blunt smoke and broken dreams just to get to the front door. So walking up from the outside, it smelled like weed, regrets, and kind of like wet carpet. But as soon as I walked in, full transformation. It was like I walked into a Pinterest board of divorced wine moms and off-duty cops. So we'll start with the flavor. My wife and I both got the Reuben sandwich, and it was really good. It took a while for it to come out, but it was really fresh, really flavorful. My wife says that the pickles on it were disgusting, but she's a little culturally challenged, so we won't judge her for that. She cannot be trusted with opinions on brined vegetables. We will continue to pray for her. And then my daughter got the mac and cheese, which honestly I'm pretty sure was just Kraft mac and cheese with a side of fries, but she loved it. It was hot, it was cheap, the 4-year-old's happy, it's a win.
Do you like your mac and cheese? Is it yummy?
We're just gonna thank the mac gods and move on. The value of this place, I mean, it wasn't exactly cheap, but it wasn't like hey, I just financed a Reuben sandwich. The portions were large. What I'm looking for is to leave with to-go boxes. When I go out to eat, I don't want it to be one meal. I want it to be 2, maybe 3. So we left with 3 to-go boxes and a food coma, and you get what you pay for. In this case, you're paying for good food, good portions, a vibe, and minor digestive recovery. So for value, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. As far as environment goes, this place bleeds soul. And not just any soul, small town soul. They've got this wall of heroes dedicated to veterans and like a law enforcement, firefighter wall, tribute wall. They also had a tribute to Officer Rodarte. He was a local cop who was very recently just killed in the line of duty here in Marysville, and there was a tribute to him on the wall there, which was nice. When you're eating here, it's like, this isn't a place that just serves breakfast. It's like, these are your neighbors, these are your friends, these are your emotional support hash browns. If somebody were to move to town, I would tell them that you have to try Two Bits Cafe. Not because the food is so phenomenal, although it is good, but because this is the epitome of what this area is about. It has the small town soul. Everything about Yuba City and Marysville is encompassed in this little cafe. So for environment, I mean, it's a win. It gets an 8 out of 10 easy. And then crave factor, this is gonna be the hardest one to get a good score on. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. Look, it's diner food. Nobody's laying down in the middle of the night going, man, I wish I had greasy diner food. Now, don't get me wrong, it was good diner food, and it actually wasn't very greasy at all. The fries were good, the sandwich was good, the mac and cheese was probably store-bought, who really cares? So yeah, the crave factor is only getting a 5 out of 10. That doesn't mean that I'm not gonna be back. I'll probably be back multiple times. But the food in and of itself is not something I'm craving, but it was a really good environment, real good ambiance, real good vibe. I really enjoyed my time. Okay, so stop number 3 was overwhelmingly mentioned, and I can understand why. We went to Silver Dollar Saloon in Marysville, AKA the oldest small town in California. I do not know if that's true, but it's cute, so I'll give it that. Silver Dollar Saloon used to be a brothel, at least the upstairs. So like I walked in and my nose was like, this place has secrets. So we'll start with flavor, but first, because I'm gonna be a little critical here, I should start by saying that I loved this place. I will be a regular here, assuming you guys donate or something because it was not cheap. But I will be back. However, the food, there's some room for improvement here. So let's start with the pickle fries, but a better way to describe them is salt grenades. I bit into one and forgot my middle name. Don't get me wrong, they were tasty, but someone needs to stage an intervention with the chef and his relationship with sodium. It's like, they were good, just lay off the salt a little bit and they would have been phenomenal. For my entree, I ordered the ribs. Now, everyone recommended the ribs. I have to be careful here because I am a rib guy. I make ribs all the time. They're one of my favorite foods. And the reality is, to make truly good ribs, you're gonna be in your backyard for 12 hours with a Bud Light, a smoker, and a lot of time to babysit. Restaurants, they don't have that ability, so they do the best with what they can, and I'm trying to keep that in mind. They were fine. They were a little on the dry side. The flavor was good, but it wasn't very strong. And normally overwhelming flavor is not super important as long as the meat tastes good, because the flavor of the meat is gonna carry the dish. But when the meat is cooked too fast or too hot, it kind of dries it out and the flavor isn't as strong. So then you rely on the flavors of the seasonings and the sauces, which just weren't very prevalent in this dish. So with the flavor kind of lacking and it being on the dry side, it wasn't my favorite meal, but it was still good. Honestly, I don't know if they have the ability to do this, but my recommendation would be to lower the temperature a little bit, increase the time, and add some spritzing with apple juice. And if you're going for that fall off the bone tenderness, which you achieved, then wrap it. But if you want good crispy bark, don't wrap it. So I don't know how you make your ribs. The flavor was not super great, but the texture was really good. It was fall off the bone, which some people like a little bit more bite to it. Some people like it super tender. I like mine super tender. So as far as the tenderness, you actually nailed it as far as my personal preference. But we need to do something about the juices and increase the flavor profile a little bit. And again, I'm being overly technical because backyard barbecue is my jam. I very rarely go to barbecue restaurants because nobody can touch what I can do in the backyard. But for a restaurant that has limited time and limited resources and has to keep prices relatively low, you didn't do a bad job. And then there was some mashed potatoes on the side, and the mashed potatoes were mashed potatoes, like they were fine, but the gravy was good. I'd drink that like pre-workout. And then my wife ordered another Reuben, which I'm starting to think is just her entire personality. And she took a bite and she gave me this look of like, you're gonna hate this. But I had to try it. And holy salt again! I'm not sure what's happening. Does the chef have personal beef with human kidneys? Someone take the salt away from this guy! The flavor profile I can tell was there, but it was completely overwhelmed with salt. So guys, take the salt away and the Reuben would have been a good sandwich. But the French fries, oh man, the French fries were good. Probably my favorite French fries I've ever had. There's like a science to French fries, right? How much crisp do you want? How much potato flavor do you want? How much salt? Do you like them soft and mushy? Do you like them like McDonald's crispy? And Silver Dollar Saloon nailed it. I mean, perfect crisp, perfect crunch, perfect potato profile. I wanna know if you get your potatoes from Idaho, because if you don't, that might up your game a little more. You wanna look for places like Sugar City, Rexburg. Eastern Idaho is where the high quality potatoes come from. In fact, there's a big farm in Rigby. Look into it. There's a reason why Five Guys almost always and only gets their potatoes from Idaho. It really will up your game. And if you already get your potatoes from Idaho, they're delicious. But if you don't, they would be even better. So flavor's getting a 6 out of 10. I'm sorry guys, like the food just was okay. And this is a series of the greatest restaurants in America, and flavor is a big one, and I have to be honest. But there are plenty of redeeming qualities here, so don't think this is a negative review at all. Let's talk about the value. Value is getting a 7 out of 10. Now, anybody who's eaten there is going to think, what are you talking about? Because this place is not cheap. In fact, I was low-key pissed when I saw the prices. But you have to understand what kind of restaurant this is. For one, this is a historical building. This place is over 100 years old. There's jam-packed history here. Hookers used to work upstairs. That in and of itself's worth a few bucks. And there's probably a ghost named Betty somewhere. Look, working class families probably cannot afford to come here. Maybe the occasional special occasion, they save up for it. But I have a small family of 3 and we really didn't order much and we still walked out spending well over 100 bucks. And one of the 3 of us was just a 4-year-old who ordered a corn dog. So I mean, you can't even really count that. It was really just the 2 of us, and it was over 100 bucks. This meal drained my video budget, so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to afford the next video. But this brings us back to what are you paying for? Because here you're not paying for the food. In fact, I would come here and pay a premium and not even get the food. You're really paying for the environment, which brings us into the next part. Environment gets a 9 out of 10. The vibes here were phenomenal. Live music. We were there for like 5 minutes and karaoke started. Cowboy hats at the bar. Don't get me wrong, whenever I see cowboy hats in California, I automatically think that they're posers because back in Idaho, like where people are real cowboys, like they're out rounding up cows and that is their job. Whereas here, it's like you see the local accountant wearing cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. And it's like, are you just mimicking what you see on Yellowstone or are there real cowboys here? But I don't know, I haven't been here all that long, so I could just be being judgmental. I know there are a lot of farms. And honestly, it was kind of a taste of home. The decor was super old school, the muskets on the walls, the taxidermy was great. I'm a hunter, I love it. Everyone seemed like they were having a really good time. There was a little kid singing "You've Got a Friend in Me," off key, but with a full chest. Now the staff, we'll have to talk about this a little bit because they were super sweet. I really liked them. The lady at the bar was very sweet. She actually sang a karaoke song. Our waitress was super great. But they were also like absolutely sprinting. And this wasn't a negative way. I didn't feel like they didn't care about me or my experience. I just felt like they were probably being overworked or understaffed. Maybe it was a little busier than expected for a Thursday night. But they didn't really stay at the table for more than like 10 or 15 seconds, even when they were ordering our food. When they came to drop off our food, it was like they showed up, slid it on the table, and left. At one point, I really needed napkins because I had ordered the ribs, and she literally just like ran past the table as she was going somewhere else and threw the napkins on the table. I wasn't offended. It was one of those situations where I'm like, hey, blink twice if you're not okay. Huge respect for how hard they were hustling. They might need a few additional employees because they were super great. They just seemed overwhelmed. And last, the crave factor, the hardest to get a high score on. And this one, no different. Gonna give it a 5 out of 10 because I would never crave this food. And that's what the crave factor is kind of about. I would come here for the karaoke. I would come here to hang out at the bar and talk to the bartender. I would come here because I'm feeling low and I need a taste of home. When I'm really missing Idaho, Silver Dollar's probably my new place to go. but the crave factor is about how much I crave the food, and I would never crave this food. I would probably eat it if I came because the food was fine, but nothing's blowing my socks off here. It's like when you go to McDonald's and you order chicken nuggets and you're like, these are good. If I'm hungry, I'd probably order these again. But very rarely am I laying in bed going, bring me chicken nuggets. Same with this place. It's like, hey, there's food if you want to eat while you're here, but I'm not coming here to eat. But I had a really good experience. I don't want anyone to take this as a negative review because I think everyone in town should go there. Our next stop blew my mind. In Yuba City, there is a place that many of you have probably never heard of. There's a big old sign in front of it that you drive by every day probably, and the restaurant's not exactly hidden, but not a single person mentioned it to me. There's hardly any reviews on the place, and that breaks my heart because this place blew my socks off. Kebab and Euro Hub. Most people have never heard of this place. Most people can't pronounce Euro. I might not be able to pronounce Euro. Gyro? Gyro? Euro? I don't know. I call it a Euro. Just point to the menu like a toddler ordering chicken nuggets. They'll know what you want. But pronunciation aside, this place was bomb. Don't get me wrong, they're definitely not winning any interior design awards, but I walked in and was immediately like, you're about to make some very terrible decisions. Smiles everywhere, the vibe was calm and chill, nothing fancy, but something was cooking back there and I wanted it. So let's talk about the flavor. Buckle up. I had a few things to eat here because I'm fat. The first thing was an appetizer called the Sikh Kebab. I've never heard of it. I might not be pronouncing it right. It was spicy, but not evil. I don't handle spice very well these days. When I was younger, I used to go to a Thai restaurant and order 10 out of 10 spicy. Something happened over the years, and now I just can't handle it like I used to. My wife can handle it, and she would have loved this. But it was mild enough that I could handle it. And if flavor had fists, this would have punched me in the throat.
This is good.
I almost asked for more like an addict. Like, one more, chef. One more Sikh. It was super good. I didn't get a second one because I wanted to save room for the entree. So I ordered the combo platter because the owner told me that was what is the most popular. So it's basically like everything that's on the inside of a gyro, but not. It's just kind of like a salad. It's got the beef and the lamb and the sauces, and then the pita bread is just on the side. I've eaten a lot of gyros in my life. It's one of my favorite foods. Mediterranean food in general is probably among my favorite foods. This was the best I've ever had, period. The lamb was cooked like the chef had something to prove. Every bite made me question why I ever ate fast food. The combo platter was incredible. And then I got something called the dynamite chicken. Now at this point, I was so overwhelmed with joy that I actually didn't get very good footage of this, but it was like this glass cup lined with lettuce and then filled with this chicken. It was so good. It was crispy, saucy, wildly unique. If chicken nuggets evolved into Pokemon, this would be their final form. And look, I tried to find the flaws. I want to be critical. I do not want to give people free good reviews. I want to show up and be like, hey, this place sucked. But everything here was hitting harder than my student loan interest rates. There were no weak links, 0 misses. I was emotionally overwhelmed with how good this food was. The flavor, hands down, gets a 9 out of 10. And it only gets a 9 out of 10 because I refuse to give anyone a 10 out of 10. Because you can always make something just a little bit better. But I might eat my words. Maybe someday I find a dish that was a 10 out of 10. But for now, this is as close as you can get, 9 out of 10. Value? 8 out of 10, man. This was not expensive at all. The portions were great. The appetizers were appetizer size, so you're not gonna get full off of that. The entree, I couldn't finish. And then the dynamite chicken, if it was the only thing that I ordered, would probably be more like an appetizer. But considering I ate that after I ordered the entree, I couldn't finish that either. And altogether, I really hardly spent any money. When you consider how good the food was, how much food there was, how sweet the people were there. If this was one of those trendy spots, I would have expected to pay double for food that tastes like cardboard. So why not a 9 out of 10? Because I've been giving out too many 9s. Look, if it was $1.75 cheaper, it would have been a 9 out of 10. but it was still an incredible value. Environment, yeah, it's getting a 6 out of 10. I'm sorry. It was clean, it was quiet, it was cozy. A little hospital-y though. The lights were too bright. You might want to change out those lights for something a little warmer. It had hospital vibes. The lights specifically had hospital vibes, nothing else. Just a little too bright. There was a couple of places in the restaurant that were blocked off. Like there's a buffet that will be opening soon, although buffets in general don't really give a good aesthetic, but it's a good way to bring people in. But that area was, shut down. And then when you walk in at the very back, there's like I don't know if it's a bar area or a front end or what, but it was closed down and kind of blocked off. Nothing offensive, just kind of awkward. It really doesn't matter though. You could have served me that food in a storage unit and I'd still show up. So let's move on to crave factor. I keep telling people that I'm giving out too many 9s. But look, as I'm filming this video, I'm craving this place. 9 out of 10. Everything. The seek kebab, the combination platter, the dynamite chicken. I want all of it right now, again. If I had that for dinner tonight, I would be back for breakfast tomorrow. This is the first place that I really want to go back to. It was so incredible. I mean, my words aren't doing it justice. You guys have to go here. And you'll notice that through these videos, I'm probably very rarely going to give you a call to action like, hey, please go support this restaurant, because that's not really what I'm about. I'm not a charity case. I'm not trying to just boost people's business. I'm trying to tell people what the good and bad restaurants are in America. But I feel selfish hogging this place to myself. This is one of the best restaurants I have ever been to in my life, just purely based on the quality of the food. Take everything else out of it. Take the environment, the employees, take it all away, and just give me that food. And it's the best thing I've ever had. So I wanted to speak with the owner. I don't know if this is something that I'm gonna do often. If you guys like it, I will. If you guys don't, I won't. But I needed to talk to the owner. And she told me that this place was her dream. She's actually from Pakistan. She moved to the United States. Her dream was to open a restaurant, and that's what they did. And they're really fighting to keep it alive. I assume that most of these restaurants are probably struggling right now. Restaurants in general, food service, there's not a huge profit margin. You don't build a restaurant to get rich. And this place is no different. I mean, they're struggling. They're not getting a lot of customers. Most places aren't getting the customers that they used to. For this place though, it hit me a little harder when they said that they were struggling, because this place is perfect. If I only had a budget of $20 a month to go out to eat, that entire $20 is going to Kebab and Euro Hub. So literally, if you guys don't know that this place exists, go eat there. Right now. Pause this video and go to Kebab and Euro Hub. I'm not joking. Go. But then come back and finish this video, because it really helps the algorithm. It actually really hurts if you don't finish the video. This place, I hope, is a legacy in progress. It was so good. The owner was so sweet. We're 4 stops in to finding the greatest restaurant in America, and we will not stop until we find it, or find them. Maybe there's multiple of the greatest restaurants in America, but I don't think we found them yet. So what's next? Let me know.
Stand here in the spot.